Good evening and welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of Football Manager with the London Greens. It's the longest freaking series on the channel, I'm fairly certain. Well, actually, in terms of episodes, it might not be just yet, but in terms of like the amount of time I've spent playing it, definitely. So, welcome back, guys. We're on here for another episode in the London Greens, and I have to say, today's actually going to be, I suspect, a bit of a shorter one. We're only going to have two games in today's episode. We're going to finish up the Berks Elite match. You can see this, the next match actually, that we've got scheduled. It's today. I'm ready for it. I've picked the team already, and I'll run through that in a second. And then we've got the Thornton Heath Wanderers match as well. That will take us to the end of March. Then we will only have 5 league games to go, of which that will probably be split over another 2 episodes. 1 episode of 2 games, 1 episode of 3 games, and that will be the league done in, this is episode what? This is episode 16. So that will be the league done episode 18. Hopefully playoffs episode 19. And then maybe the final will be its own episode, and that'll be episode 20. And it'll be a nice like 20 episode season. That could be something we do. I have tried to kind of not go overboard with the episodes and do like a 30 episode season, because then it takes a lot longer to get through. In terms of actual real world time, it takes a lot longer to get through the episodes. But you know, it's a difficult one to kind of manage with like a recording schedule and stuff like that. But I'm ready. I'm here. 2 games today. Berks Elite, Thornton Heath next. Got the notepad ready. Got the cup of tea ready. I'm ready to go. Let's go. So the team I've picked for today's episode is this. It is Ben Horn up top. We had a recent comment about whether or not we play Ben Horn up top. And now the question is that when we do have Horn up top, we tend to be a bit more clinical, because he's a very clinical player. He's a good player at the level we're at. And when he plays in at the cam position, we tend to keep the ball a bit more. We tend to have a bit more possession. Last time out, we did try this kind of slightly asymmetrical tactic as well. That was also listening to a comment, and it did work out pretty well. So we're going to try it again today. We're going to have Horn up top, however, this time. Embleton and Lewandowski, Bowers, Hughes as the midfielders, kind of offering support. They might move into an attacking role if we're struggling to score. Olafsson doing what Olafsson does, owning the midfield, hopefully. He's been playing very, very well this season, and is actually, only second or third in terms of average rating behind Horn. Tom Moss is there as well with a good rating, and they've got lots of minutes under the belt, 2.6, 2.9. Lewandowski on a 7.3 with only 400 minutes. And I've got some other players in there as well. So Callum Wilde, Jake Evans, they're going to play on the wing-back positions. Savage is going to get another chance in the centre-back position. There's a lot. Oh, look, there's Ryan Glover. Oh, this is actually a player I brought in for his outrageous versatility. Outrageous versatility. So we brought him in. We're paying him not really that much, but it's just the fact that he can more or less play anywhere in the midfield and even play at wing back. It's a little bit ridiculous, I'm not going to lie. So he's actually being brought in probably to kind of act as a cover across the board if we get like injuries and stuff like that. It would be a little bit silly not to include him in the squad right now. So Stefan Clark, who does have 770 minutes, most of them off the bench, to be fair to him. Yeah, but they just cover so many positions. So maybe actually we go like that. Stefan Clark goes in there. Ephraim covers in, comes off for Todd Parker. Sorry, there he is. So then we're covering, Stefan Clark covers the back line, more or less. We cover goalie, of course. Glover covers the middle of the park and the wing positions either side. Parker is a really solid midfield player. So if we need a little bit more, let's say, strength in the midfield or something like that, Parker can go on, replace Hughes. We go into the 4-2-3-1 or something like that. And Jake Anderson come in on if we want to add a striker or if we want to replace Ben Horn. So that is the idea for today's game. I've picked the team already. Hopefully we get a good game out there. Everyone is happy with the selection advice, which is really, really good. With the selection I've gone for, I'm getting positive reactions, which is really, really good. Up against Berks Elite. Let's hope for a good game. In fact, I do need to check whether or not we are on key highlights. We want to go to extended highlights as we start this game. And it looks like Bucks have got a bit of possession in the first 4 or 5 minutes or so. Let's see if that comes down a bit. It has come down a bit, but they are looking like they've got a bit of momentum early doors. Only one shot just so. Wow. Well, that's kind of unfortunate, but we're going to see what Ryan Glover can do. I'm also going to make a decision here to bring... Sorry, let's cancel that. To go on to a balanced and also bring that line, bring that press back a little bit. Because even though possessions are rather even, the momentum is completely against us at the minute. I want to step back and try and make sure we don't concede a silly goal. Here we go. First highlight, Callum Wilde on the throw-in. Gives it to Bowers. Looks forward to Glover. There he is, the new man. Loses the ball. That's not a way to be starting. Kateku to Wiley. Finds Davies. Oh, it's a missed interception. Davies goes through but misses the strike by, well, quite a margin actually. We've actually picked up our possession stat a little bit. So let's go for a demand more here. And let's see if they are going to respond to that. Oh, good ball across. Withers gets there, gathers it. Absolutely fine. No dramas, not really, at least. So if possession is kind of evening out a bit, do we want to bring our line back just a tad? You know, we don't want to go all the way back. Do we want to go to a lower line, or do we want to bring the block back and have more options a little bit further back? Maybe that's the idea. Hawks shot. Okay, I'm also... You know, I'm going to let it play out for a second. Rather than keep changing things. You know, I don't want to change things too much. I get in my own head and I make too many decisions like that, which don't actually end up being advantageous to the team. But as you can see, the momentum is still mostly against us. So when I'm seeing that, when I'm seeing the momentum against us, it makes me think we've got to change something. We can't just keep going this way and expect things to change. We've got to try and implement a change of our own. That's a yellow card for Beard. The momentum is balancing out a little bit. We've got the possession. Let's slow that tempo down and let's also just kind of ease things into a little bit more. Turn that off. Yeah, I'm just going to slow things down and see if that can kind of take the sting out of the game. Glover goes long. Evans jumps, won't get there. Bowers will try and get it, won't be able to. And we're going to get counter-attacked, and no one seems too worried about the guy with the ball running up the wing. Like, where is the emergency presence, you know, the idea that we are getting countered here? We have dealt with it. Evans on the ball. We'll look for a pass. He finds Beard. It goes back to Evans, forward to Ben Horn. Controls it, loses it. Interesting. Okay. Doesn't look like the wingers are overly engaged at the minute. And, oh my word, what a save. Okay, I'm thinking those wingers need to come back. So that's what they're going to do. Oh, wow. Another half injury, it looks like. Now, Lewandowski's okay. So, Beard's going to come off for Stefan Clark. Hughes is going to come off for Parker. And we're going to settle into a bit more of a defensive shape. The wingers are going to stick on attacking. I still want the wingers on attacking. Not wide midfielder. Winger attack. Let's have you an attacking midfielder. What's the difference there? Yeah, I'll keep him on support. Sorry, no. Advanced playmaker, no. Attacking midfielder. Yes. Okay, there we go. The changes are made. All of them kind of in one sweeping move, just to see what we can do in this second half. A 0-0 isn't really what we're after. And the momentum is still mostly against us. Okay, let's swap it the other way then. Let's step up. Let's move up towards them a tad. Try and take away their time off the ball. And let's up that tempo again. Let's see if that works instead. Let's go a bit wider. We've got wide players. Let's go wide and let's go to low crosses. Try and get Ben Horn on the end of something. That's a yellow card here. However, this time it's not for me or my players. Let's go for a demand more. We've gotten away with a period of time of no momentum going our way, but it looks like it's now flipping and going the other way. We've got a bit of white appearing on the momentum bar. However, we've still only had one shot and now it's back to blue. Oh no, back to white again. Let's up that tempo again and get a little bit direct. Let's also get creative. There's not very long to go here. Okay, that's going to be a keeper sweeping that one up. So Withers on the ball. If we could grab a goal now, it would be something. It would be a bit of a smash and grab, a bit of a steal from the Berks Elite. Parker goes forward with the ball. Look for Ben Horn. He's relatively open. There he is. You found him. He's gone to Glover. Glover in his debut match. On his debut. Oh, I really thought there was going to be something there for Ryan Glover, the new player. Here is another highlight. Again, we've swept up, picked up the ball nicely. Stefan Clark finds Olafsson, who is still on that yellow card, don't forget. He's going to look out to the right-hand side. In fact, he goes on his own. Look for a cross at some point. He does. Ben Horn, back post, jumps, and Wicks gets across, makes the save. It is good play from Olafsson. Gets himself out wide instead of passing it out wide, which is a bit curious. But then again, if the winger wasn't open, the winger wasn't open. You can't just expect him to play the pass anyway. Good ball in. Olafsson gets on the end of it and just puts it over the bar. We have had the better of the chances come the end of this game. Let's play for set pieces, and on top of that, I'm going to tell them to go positive because we are having the better of it at the end of this game. At the crunch time, the danger zone, end times of the match, it would be really, really good if we could grab a goal and get ourselves a 1-0 lead. Bowers on the ball, shoots it from distance, just over the bar. Only just. Wowzer, is there one more chance? Offside, unfortunately not. We've got 30 seconds to go. We've got a throw in, yellow card for Stefan Clark, and it is the last time. Oh no, that's it. That's it. It is a 0-0. Right, so we spent a lot of that game trying to figure out what we were doing. And ultimately, we ended up on this shape. And it did seem to work. What I guess I could have done is, as that possession stat did tick up, I could have put the wingers back up forward. And maybe we would have had a bit more danger at the end of that game. The thing is, though, it is still 0-0. And you've not been playing overly well. Your defenders have. They've got good ratings across the board there. But you've not been playing overly well. You haven't created a lot of chances. So you kind of don't want to get through 80 minutes of good defence. Say, let's go out and attack. And then lose a goal kind of unnecessarily. If you know what I mean. Like I don't want to sound like I'm never going to go for it. No, we are going to go for it. But there was no real need to there. So we'll take a 0-0. We still have points above Spellthorne. Meridian have that game in hand. However, Thornton is the game we've got to win because they've got lots of games in hand. Wow. It's still very, very close out here. It's still very, very close. Embleton's injured. 3 to 4 weeks. That's unfortunate. 2 to 4 days for Lewandowski. That could be worse. Oh, wow. So Turner Gilligan wanted to leave, and we actually said if an offer came in, I would let him go. But he has since kind of, pulled that back. Obviously, he said, no, you know what? I'm happy to be here. Understood. Fair enough. All right. Only 4 days until that Thornton match. Oh, all right. All right. Okay, let's get to it. All right, so we're not actually at the game yet. And the reason for that is that Thornton are currently yep, that's what happened. Thornton had a match lined up against Cobham. Now, they've still got 3 games in hand. Look at that, 33 for Thornton, 36 for us. So we've got to beat them. We have got to beat them. Now, if we take a look at the data hub real quick, it says that they play a direct counter-attack style. So it might play into our hands a little bit with our idea of kind of the high press, and we're going to try and control the ball. But what we're going to do is we're not going to let them do that. We're going to slow things down. We're going to squeeze the ball. We're going to hold on to the ball as much as possible. And we're going to make sure that we do not get hit on the counter. So we're going to hold shape. You know, we don't want to throw numbers forward and suddenly find that we are actually going to be hit on the counter. We're also going to pick the team now before I skip forward to the next, to the game. So Lewandowski, out you come. You're injured slightly. Ryan Glover, no, you're not going to start. Who is going to start? That's the question now, though. I think it's going to have to be Ryan Glover. It's going to have to be. And then that brings us to who's going to play on the bench. I think Ephraim probably goes in there. Or Parker swaps it around. And that was actually our bench before anyway. So that's interesting. Takeda is still out for 5 more days. Very interesting. Okay, Beard's going to have a swap out for Mason. Barry Clark, you could swap in for Anderson. It feels a bit harsh to do that. And Harry Jess, you're going to step in as well. A bit of rotation. In fact, middle of the park, I think I'm going to go for a change here as well. We're going to get the Parker Olafsson connection back online. Let's see if it does work. Now, oh, that's the frame rate dropping because of the old... because of the processing getting through to the game. But we are going to get through to the game now. I'm not going to cut away. There's going to be another frame rate drop in a second. But we've got to win this game. It's a really important one that we win this game. Okay, though it wants me to change Ephraim in, Mikael Barnes in. However, Barnes has kind of moved him out of the team. To be honest, he's not really in the looking at the minute. Oh, we sit on... I mean, we could get to 70. That would be nice. It would be, in fact, it would be very good if we did. We've drawn 17 matches. The record is 19. That's not really a record I'm after. Drawing that many games. 17 games. Like, the only positive is that it does mean we are difficult to beat. I've said this before countless times when talking about the number of games we have drawn. It means we are difficult to beat. The flip side of that is, it means we are also not taking our chances when they appear. Now, Jake Vernon says, I think it would be a good idea to hold a team meeting, give the players some words of encouragement ahead of the next fixture, as it is crucial. Yes, it is. Ease the pressure, tell them they're not expected to win. Okay. Okay, Harry Jess is disappointed. Okay, I'm gonna drop a positivity. Everyone is happy except for Harry Jess, who says you need to be shooting higher, I suppose. But I'm just trying to make sure that the morale is looking good going into the game. And to be fair, maybe Jess doesn't play because of that. You know, if he is gonna feel a little bit down in the dumps, maybe he doesn't play. Oh, Peter Chishimba, that's difficult to say. Peter Chishimba is a youth player that we brought in. He's got pretty good physicals, good determination, good off the ball. He's going to be a striker. It says right wing or whatever, but he's going to be a striker. And yeah, you look, Jess, if you're not feeling positive, then let's make a swap. Let's give Stefan Clark a start. There we go. He doesn't get the chance to start many games. I think he's earned this one. Turner Gilligan, let's give you a praise. Let's give I don't think you've been training very well. Pick up your ideas, Richard Hughes. And 4-1 to Langley. Are either of these games important to us? Not really. Not really. They are important to the lower teams, but not really for us. Horns on international duty. Is he going to be missing a game? I hope not. Oh, I hope not indeed. It's actually kind of interesting that this is more or less the only game that causes my encoding to kind of flip out and I kind of lose a bit of frames. Not really sure why that is. What is the score in the football match? It's 2-2. Newcastle have scored a second goal. Alex Yeboah signs a youth contract, as does Magnus Pardew. Lovely stuff. Okay, very, very close to this being, to his one changing. Okay. And we are at game day. Good. We are here. Fitness test. Okay, so Tomonori Takeda, you cannot play just yet. Takeda? Tadeka? Takeda. It is Takeda. I was saying Tadeka for a long time. Okay, so this is good for us. We need the Whistlers to beat Meridian. That would be helpful. Keep them down that way. Then we also need Wiseman West to try and beat Bookham. But that might be difficult. We shall see. Those are the instructions. Oh no, Harry Jess, you're going to be swapped out. No, that's already happened. Okay, it wants me to put him back in. No, I've made that decision. I've got something in my eye. There we go. Concerned. And Embleton. So the two injured players are concerned. They are injured. What do they want me to do? Still got something in my eye that I cannot get. Who cares? Who cares? Moving on. Let's get going. Okay, we won 3 on the bounce, then a 0-0 draw with Berks Elite. Let's go into this game, and hopefully I can make some better decisions going into this game. Not that I made bad decisions overly in the last one. It wasn't really bad decisions, but we could have won. I think we could have won if I'd have been a bit more cognitive at certain points. Okay, we've started well, though. We've got the latest scores there. Okay, Thornton with a bit of a... Oh, Olafsson with an early yellow again. He might have to come off this time. I can't really have him playing 80-odd minutes on a yellow card, can I? I don't know. Parker, back to Mason. Good. Back to Olafsson. Out wide to Tom Moss. Out wide to Evans. Moss make a run. He does. Now you've got to try and find someone. Bowers, not quite there. Pill for a penalty. Given! Owen Brett went in too hard on Bowers, and Olafsson will take the penalty. You would think Ben Horn should be taking the penalties. Maybe he should. But I do back my Olafsson to get those goals. That's his 15th goal of the season. Lovely work. That's 1-0. And I'm going to tell them all to calm down. It's early doors still. Keep your head on. The Whistlers are winning. Everything's going as we would like it to at the moment. Lovely stuff. Let's keep going. Wow. That was freaking close. Oh, that was pretty close. Okay, moving on. Whistlers have scored again. Even better. Now all I need is Wiseman West to get one. Glover from the free kick. Oh, very close. Stefan Clark to chase it up. He does chase it up. He gets taken out. Clark is offside. Fair enough. Okay. Looking good. We are looking good. I'm actually happy with how we're going here. I don't really want to give them a praise because sometimes that kind of gets them playing a little bit silly. Let's just go for another demand more and see how the negative react. Right, possession's looking good. Possession's looking really good actually, so I might even tell us to just slow things down even further. If they're going to play with this idea of counter-attacking us with direct counter-attack, then we're just going to sit back and make it as difficult as possible and possibly even bring Parker back further. Parker still on the ball. Good stuff. Into Ben Horn. Out wide. Yep. Evans forward. He runs forward instead of passing it forward. That's fine. Into Moss. Back post. Ben Horn jumps. Well saved. Indeed. Well saved. Okay, fair enough. The tactical change is going to be a simple one. There we go. Parker's just going to move back a little bit. Get himself... Oh, Evans! Oh, didn't want to have a go. Didn't fancy having a go there. I thought that would be an opportunity to just let one rip from about the penalty spot. Wild plays it into Glover. Baker makes a good tackle, clears it long. And that's actually what we're after. We don't want them trying to counter. We want them just sending it long and we get possession back. Watson goes long. I think he's probably offside. He goes back to Baker. No offside called. Wood into Dyer. Dyer with a long shot. Not overly worried there because it is a long shot and we got defenders in front of the ball as well. So the likelihood of that going in is pretty slim. We're playing much better now. You know what? Fine. You can have an encourage. Nope, that also gets a bit of a negative response. So what do I know? What do I know? Honestly, it must just be praise is the only option, or maybe focus or calm down or something. Or maybe it's just best to say nothing. Oh no, Bookham are winning. It's an own goal as well. It's an own goal. Frenchies are winning in their match. That doesn't really affect us too much. Okay, let's up that tempo just a bit. I don't want to play too much into their hands. Let's turn that off. And let's kind of tighten things up just a tad. Dyer crosses it in. Mason does well to get rid of it. Edwards to Dyer, long shot with it is there. Again, if we're blocking them or, if we're reducing them to just long shots, I'm not really afraid of it. One of them might go in, but the likelihood is pretty slim. And while they're taking long shots, we're going to have a lot more possession and you would think create chances to go alongside it. Parker, what a ball. Ben Horn. Oh, another good save. I actually thought that ball in behind there was going to go for Moss and Moss was going to get on the end of it. But it wasn't to be. Oh my goodness, that's so close to going over the line. Wowzer. Blocked. Over the bar. Time is actually up, so the ref might give them this corner, but if we can just clear it, then I imagine that's half time, and I can start making my changes, which is going to be an Olafsson swap for Darren Beard. Swap their roles so that Parker is playing more defensively. Actually, no, Richard Hughes could come on instead there. We'll set it into... You know what? No. Oh! Yeah, that works better. I think. Okay, I would love a 2-0 lead. At which point I would then... Okay, they're all feeling good, so I'm just going to not say anything for a second. If we could get a 2-0 lead, then I'll bring off Ben Horn. I will bring on Barry Clark. And we will kind of evaluate how we want to play this second half. But yeah, I am just looking for a bit of a 2-0. So let's go attacking for a little bit. And up that tempo as well. Okay, we're taking a little bit of momentum going the other way. So let's step up a tad. But go back to positive. Okay, I think that might be a better option. We're going to step up, kind of take away their time, play a little bit higher up. But we're not going to be so focused on attacking. Oh, that's unfortunate. So I thought it was going to be 1-0. It's there. Whistlers have scored in theirs. That's 3-0. That's perfect. But Bookham have scored again. They made it 2-0. Wiseman have got one back. It would be very nice if they could get another one back and make it 2-2. But that is not to be the case right now. Okay, changes to be made. Let's go. Yeah, let's bring Hughes on for Bowers and just bring you back into a bit of a box-to-box on support. And the wingers can come back as well. They should stay on attacking. So I need to change that like that. And Clark will just stay up on his own for a little bit and do a little bit of running up top. As it's been a bit of a up and down second half. You can see that with the momentum. I just want to solidify a little bit. That's all I'm really looking for. I'll take a 1-0 and I'll take it being a penalty all day long. I'll take a really somewhat boring episode of a 0-0 followed by a 1-0 where we win with a penalty. Then again, having said that, we gave the ball away somewhat cheaply and have gotten away with it because Withers makes the save. Let's drop our intensity to balanced here. Our mentality, even. Still a lot of possession. Lots of chances against, but only 3 on target, which is kind of indicative of the fact that they've been taking so many long shots rather than really generating chances. So it's not a big deal. Yeah, I'm just happy to see out a 1-0 at this rate. It would be very, very good. Over the top, the ball goes. Donicourt's going to look for the man. What a block. That is from Ruben Mason. What a block. Incredibly well. Oh, wow. They brought on Rocket. Beard gets it. Evans clears it. Rosman chases it. And Bookham have scored. So they've made it 3-1 in their game. Rocket from distance. It would be quite poignant. It would be quite poetic if Rocket scored a rocket to get them back in the game. But the fact that they're 3-1 means that they're going to take 3 points and we're not going to jump above them. Provided we can block out this last 10 seconds and get the win. Watson, Withers off his line. Rapid gets it done. Gathers possession. See it out. Time is up. And that is that. 1-0. Whether or not you think we played well or not, we had more shots on target. A buttload more possession. Went into a bit of a defensive kind of just control the game formation at the end of the game there. Which is all I really needed. You know, it's not always about winning 3-0. It's just about seeing it off, seeing it home. If we look at the non-penalty XG, we actually had less of 0.8 to 1. Even then, I'm not worried. I'm genuinely not worried. It's a win. That's all that matters. So what I'll do now, guys, is I will click forward to the next game. I'll sim forward. And then we'll look at what the table looks like once we're at that match. Because there may be matches in between that we want to get done. And we want to find out what those results are. So that's what I'm going to do. Right, so guys, we are at the end of the episode part, I suppose. The end part of the episode. It is taking me, I kid you not, maybe about 30 minutes to sim forward. I should have ended the episode before and it would have saved me a bit of time. But it took me about 30 minutes to sim forward because we're getting down to the business end of the season. And that is a deliberate choice of words. Because I say business end, because obviously of the metaphorical meaning of it's the business end. We want to win every game. It's the things are decided time. And the business end, because there are a lot of deals being looked at. You know, players being looked at and stuff like that. So we're going to have to make some decisions. And a big decision that I think we're going to have to make at some point is on this man here, Ben Horn. He's too good for us. Let's get that straight right now. He is too good for us. He's a player that is simply a better standard than we can kind of tend to keep. So if we can offer him a new contract at the end of the season and he will accept it, aces, brilliant. We'll give him more money and we'll try and keep him. But if we can't, we'll try and get money for him. I don't really know how it's going to work. That is... yeah, unfortunate. But that is the situation as things stand. I'm still not actually at the game, my word. So yeah, there's decisions to be made on that one. Here we are, we're at the fixtures finally. Okay, so what we're going to do, I hope you can see the table on the right hand side. You can indeed. So we are 5th at the moment. We've got Bookham ahead of us, 5 points ahead of us. We've got Spellthorne 1 point behind us, but we have a game in hand on them. The problem team are Thornton, who are actually playing Spellthorne next up. So that's very interesting. I think we've got a good chance of keeping that 5th position. It's probably going to be difficult to chase Bookham. Really, like, you know, being realistic, it's going to be quite difficult to keep him. But we can finish 5th. We've got 5 games left. We've just got to try and pick up as many points as we possibly can. If we win this game against Haddenham, who are, of course, in the bottom of the league, we'll move to 65 and be 4 points clear of Spellthorne and even more clear of Meridian. The only problem is Thornton. You know, if they win both of their games in hand, they would actually be on 62 and posing a lot of questions, even though we beat them. So definitely something to be thinking about. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click backwards and show you other results. So the bottom 2 teams actually played a match and they drew. So it doesn't really help either of them, does it? Not really. In fact, if I click here, does it show whoever teams have already been relegated? Look at that, because they've played 41. They've played 41 already. Dorking have already been relegated. Whereas Haddenham, theoretically, can stay up. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, that's kind of a little bit crazy. I'm going to go back and I'm going to click backwards again. So Wiseman West versus French's. Not really a match that matters to us too much, but French's got the win. Good for them. Kodak beating Langley. Yeah, again, Kodak are a little bit too far ahead of us for us to be worrying about that one. They're more worried about Whistlers and potentially Hayes and Hillingdon and trying to get the automatic promotion, whereas we're trying to secure playoffs. Game before that, Thornton with a draw against Berks Elite, very useful for us because that means they dropped points in a game in hand that they had. Before that, Tooting Beck, big win. These are all games that don't really affect us, to be honest. So we're going to congratulate, well done, and well done. But we're going to move backwards again. Here we go. So Bookham actually got a win over Hayes and Hillingdon. Wow, that's mad respect. That's mad respect on that one. Meridian got the win that they would be looking for over Langley. That it would have been good if they could have helped us out there. And Whistlers, of course, got a win as well. Not a surprise. Backwards we go again. Woking beat Berks Elite. Good for them. Stoke Pogues beat Langley. Good for them. Kodak beat Berks. Again, good for them. Like I say, we're not really competing with them. Spelthorne got the win over Dorking. Not a surprise. All the other games. Hayes and Hillingdon only a 1-0 over Fleet Spurs. A bit of a surprise that it's only 1-0. And then we're actually back to that. So no real surprises, no real crazy results. The only really helpful result was this one here of Berks Elite taking some points off of Thornton. So yeah, that is how the table looks like. We've got 5 games to go. If I check the schedule very quickly, it's going to be 3 and 2, and I'm not sure which way round it's going to be. And then we've got that final in the bank no matter what against Kodak. So that's not going to be easy. They are a team. They're a good team, basically. They're a good team. Have I beaten them? Have I played them? I drew 1-1 and I drew 1-1. So we kind of know what to expect. It's going to be a tough game. Thank you for watching, guys. I do hope you've enjoyed today's episode of the Football Manager series. We'll be back real soon. And in fact, when we move this series up, it might go up a level in terms of recording, so that it will come out a little bit more often. But what that means is I'll do 2 games per episode for the foreseeable. But that'll start next season. I do want the videos to come out on the regular. I still want to play the game. I still want to try and take London Greens up the divisions, which we are looking good to do. You know, we're doing well. It's just so difficult because it's so congested. So thank you for watching. Until next time.